humans! Today we are going to talk about different types of vocal distortion. Disclaimer. This is a video on how I categorize distortions. What I'm listening for, not in too much detail, and what kind of things I'm scanning. This is not a declaration of truth. With a capital T. So, alright, when I listen to a distortion, the first thing that I'm trying to figure out in context always is the distortion intentional or is it unintentional? If it's intentional, I care way more about it. If it's unintentional, I care less. Because trying to teach people to recreate unintentional distortions? Yeah, whatever. We can intentionally make the same similar sounds as distortions that were unintentional, but I don't care if it's unintentional. I'm not going to learn as much from that human as the one that's doing it intentionally. So that's the first kind of filter that I use. Second filter that I use, assuming this is an intentional distortion, they wanted to distort, not it happened by mistake, is the distortion controlled or uncontrolled? How crazy is it? How random is it? And if I go to the same singer from like 7 different live shows, am I going to get 7 irrelevant sounds? Then I care less. If I get 7 sounds that are identical, I care a lot. That's really interesting for me. So is it controlled? Is it not controlled? So generally, I am chasing the intentional, controlled people that make cow noises. People that make weird noises. And then we go into the question of what is creating the distortion / what is flapping in the wind. This is where my options and my main types of distortion come into play. So the first thing that I'm listening for is it what I would call a breath distortion? So is it there's no structure above the true vocal folds that's flubbering around? It's just the true vocal folds vibrating weirdly because the breath made fun stuff happen. So is it a breath distortion? Is it a true vocal fold distortion? Is it fry, basically? Above the true vocal folds? Are the false vocal folds vibrating? Are the arytenoids at the back the main thing? It's that weird flubbery thing. Which, if you've seen my false fold tutorials, I think it's the first one, is the reason why I say clear your throat and clear your throat loudly and strongly and don't do a polite dinner clear, because the polite party is the arytenoids, and that's not what we're learning. So just that's those 2 things. Fun! Then above that, are the aryepiglottic folds flubbering? So they're not going to make contact, but are they going jiggle jiggle in the wind? For me, that would be a sound like this kind of that type of sound. So really light. It's really, really, really light. And ideally, not too much false fold, although you can obviously do everything at the same time. Above that, behind your tongue, did the epiglottis flap? Did that happen? Higher than that, soft palate, velum. Instinctively, every part of me is like, Will Ramos, did that happen? Or did you get a cat hiss? Like, was there a high pitch, sibilant type of noise? In which case, I probably want you to lower the soft palate to achieve this. But yeah, fun. Back of your mouth, uvula. Was it the uvula? Parenthesis? Additional considerations within these, like these are the dominant structures I'm considering. Additional considerations are, is there something weird happening in the buccal region / the mouth? Is it like a type thing? Because this is distinct. Is Valsalva maneuver, the weightlifting thing, is this happening? Either is it the primary thing or is it a secondary event that's happening, but is it happening? And is the sound inhaled? We love inhales. Once I have identified what is flapping in the wind, the next thing I'm trying to figure out is the flapping of that region? And again, reminder, all these different types of distortions can be combined. They can happen at the same time. Multiple can happen at the same time and can be combined, and it changes the sound color, it changes the sound, it might change it in a way that you really don't want, but it's a thing. So it can be a combo distortion / a hybrid distortion. That being said, if you're hyper nerdy and you want to see a whole bunch of nerds talking in a very nerdy way about hybrid distortions, look at the hybrid panel discussion that we had with like Arnaud, Marcel, Tony,
and Lena. Yay!
But yeah, check that out, because fun hybrids. What the fuck? I call them combo distortions because I'm linguistically lazy, but depending on what's going on, and depending on what we find based on our research, I might adopt hybrid for certain subcategories of combo distortions. Just saying. So the thing that I'm trying to figure out once I'm like, ooh, the false vocal folds are vibrating, or ooh, arytenoids, or whatever, yay, epiglottis, doesn't matter, is that thing vibrating actively or passively? Because that's going to give me information about how that singer is muscularly moving in order to get that kind of sound. And I care about this a lot. Yay. And then, really low down on my list of concerns, but it should be talked about and mentioned, is it voiced or unvoiced? The reason this is almost not a concern for me is because I spend my entire life singing and teaching singing to humans, and if you are putting the sound in music, especially if you are not putting it on silence, but there's actually like a drum kit involved, a guitar, or whatever, pretty much 100% of the time, it's voiced. Unvoiced distortions are extremely uncommon. I hear them sometimes in voice acting. I don't hear them in music. Maybe there are like 1 or 2 unvoiced moments from Agaloch. Like, that's the only band that comes to mind. Everyone else, like even the low, wispy, really like empty, like that kind of thing that you can get from some bands is still voiced, like the vocal folds are still vibrating. So it's the type of thing that I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it too much, because within the work that I do on a daily basis, I'm not really going to encounter it, statistically speaking. So it's low down on my radar, but it does exist. Because there's a potential for a human to make an unvoiced distortion. It's just going to be very quiet and irrelevant to singing. It might be very, very relevant to voice actors and or beatboxers. For metal, unlikely. Yay! And that is how I categorize my distortions. So, any questions, existential crises, put them in the comments below. Consider joining my Patreon if you feel like it. Help me out. And I will see if I can find a link to one or two of the presentations that I have given on distortions / types of distortions. If you want to hear some audio samples and examples in the context of music, so that I don't have to deal with copyright stuff. Yay! Legalities. Woo! That is everything for now. Bye!